A sophisticated bank impersonation scam have been stripped of $6.3 million since July. The ABC has obtained a recording from one victim who claims that as this conversation was taking place, the scammer was emptying her bank account.
So these people have attempted these transactions. We are the ones cancelling these transactions for you. We haven't allowed these transactions to leave your account balance, okay?
If this was taken out, then, like, in terms of the process, what will happen next?
So if these funds were to leave your account, it would be up to me to click the refund option on these transactions. But of course, that's not even available right now because we haven't allowed the funds to leave.
Oh, okay.
Ultimately, we are responsible for your funds and all of your assets, okay? So worst case scenario, you'd be able to receive 100% refund guarantee, okay?
Okay, yep.
Okay, wonderful. So, I'm just going to look into getting an appointment made for you to go into branch. Just bear with me for a moment.
Well, Sunni Wan heads up the HSBC Scam Victim Support Group and she joins me now in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us, Sunni.
Thank you.
Look, that's a very sophisticated and quite alarming audio piece that we just played there. You too have also suffered from a scamming event. Can you tell me about your experience?
Yes, so on the 1st of December last year, I received a text message that came from the HSBC number itself and saying that I've been logged into a different location and if this wasn't you, please call the number. And so because it came from the previous HSBC thread of legitimate messages, I called the number that was on the text message and the scammer, well, at the time I thought it was HSBC staff and basically went through the verification process in questions exactly the same way as HSBC staff asked us to verify. And then he said that in order to remove this device, which was a Samsung phone that I had actually coincidentally did lose a few years ago in Perth, so that made it more believable. And so he said in order to remove this device, I needed to generate a code from the HSBC mobile banking app, in which I did because I thought I was speaking to a HSBC representative. And
so generating a code means what exactly? You go into a second authentication process, is that it?
No, it's not a 2FA. It's basically the HSBC mobile banking app itself.
Right.
Yeah, to just generate a code. And HSBC staff do usually ask us for codes.
Right.
To enter it into the phone.
Sure.
So I thought this is definitely I was speaking to a HSBC staff member. So I generated that code and the person on the phone basically said that, yeah, we're removing your device, but they were actually removing my device, like the phone that I'm currently using, instead of the Samsung previous stolen phone that's apparently logged in Perth.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So at which stage did you realise that you had been scammed and in what magnitude did you have, was the impact, how much money left your account?
I didn't realise until when they started asking me about my CoinSpot account, which is a Australian crypto exchange. And that's when I saw alarm bells because they said that they will pass my details onto a CoinSpot representative. And I was like thinking, no, this is not right because why would they pass my details? They would just HSBC would just tell me to call CoinSpot directly. By that time, the scammer took $49,900.
During that phone conversation?
Yes, during the phone conversation, which I thought HSBC was protecting me, but in actual fact, I was actually getting robbed out of my savings.
Okay, and so what were the next steps after that for you?
So I quickly hanged up after they asked me the CoinSpot inquiry, and then I tried to call the HSBC number. And I called the 1300 number, and then they said that they went through the exact same verification questions as I just had, a few minutes ago. And then they said that I had actually been scammed. And I told them, can you pause the payment? I've reported basically instantly. They said they could freeze my account, but it will take the fraud investigation team 6 to 8 weeks for them to investigate before any outcome.
So that is still happening now?
I have received my outcome, and they said that HSBC, because I've given out the code that was generated to the scammer, And according to the e-payment code clause 12.2 and 12.1, the HSBC Australia is not liable for the funds being lost.
So is there any other recourse for you to get your $49,000 back?
So we are going through the Financial Ombudsman at the moment, a couple of us, which is the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, AFCA. So we're in the initial stages, but we're not quite sure where that will get us.
Okay, so you're in a group with others. You head up this consumer group. Roughly how many people have been scammed like this?
Well, there's actually hundreds of people. I can't say who the source is from, but in my group, I've got 40 victims.
Okay.
Over 40 victims, yeah.
Wow. So do you have confidence now that your money is safe in any financial banking institution here in Australia?
No, definitely not. I mean, I've lost trust in the Australian banking system. Generally, I might as well just put my money under the bed at home. It's not safe in the Australian banks.
So just finally, Sunni, I mean, how can you see, as someone who has fallen victim to this, how can you see this stopping from happening again? What sort of protocols need to be in place?
Well, HSBC can easily just put a 24-hour pending freeze period for any large amounts greater than $10,000. And then they can also take out the instant transfers, because this only started since the instant transfers began. And
could you reduce, as a client, your instant transfers, the level of the amount there? Could you have reduced it down to 5,000, say?
So, yes, so there was in June or July, HSBC did actually say that they have reduced the daily limit from 50,000 to 5,000. But obviously this has not been implemented because the scammers were able to take out up to the maximum amount per day.
Okay, Sunni, we will be watching this intently. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Yeah, okay.
And in a statement, HSBC says it takes customer security seriously and investigates all issues with the outcome dependent on each set of circumstances. It says it continues to educate clients that the bank doesn't ask customers for account details over the phone and has issued warnings about spoofing messages. HSBC says protecting customers is its priority and it continues to enhance existing initiatives and implement new ones. And the CEO of the Consumer Action Law Centre, Stephanie Tonkin, has just released a statement. She says every week we get calls from people who have been scammed, like the HSBC victims, who are desperate to get their hard-earned money back and have nowhere to go. Until the Albanese Government passes laws as a matter of urgency to force industry to reimburse customers, Australia will continue to be a honeypot for criminal scammers. Well, regular exercise is important for physical and mental health, but people with a disability say if they want to hit the gym, their options are limited.
Throwing punches is how Jason Mayweather spends his days, and it's more than just about getting fit.
Got addicted, fell in love with the sport, started training at different boxing gyms.
But it hasn't come without its challenges.
Going to a quote-unquote regular gym, it's very difficult because the equipment might not be able to reach it.
It's a situation many people with a disability face when trying to work out.
Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Spinal Life Australia has designed one of its centres to combat that problem.
All the equipment is modifiable, so it does cater for all needs, all impairments and all limitations as well. So we haven't had anyone come in here yet that hasn't been able to do some form of exercise.
It's good to have specific gyms for people with disabilities, but what we should really have is making sure that